That's 5, baby. That is 5 for the first time in probably, I think it was 2013. The Detroit Lions, ladies and gentlemen. Like the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Campbell said himself. 5. There's no $6 bills yet. I'll make one. But anyways, hello everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Pro Nerd Sports Podcast. My name is Ian Stoddard. I now have money all over my room. I'll probably lose about half of it. But I want to know how everyone is doing on this fine Wednesday, not Thursday. I don't have Thursday off from work this week, unfortunately. Oh, okay. I was like, am I muted? That'd be terrible. But if you're new here, welcome. I'm sorry in advance. I apologize. Hey, hold on. Let me record this. Yeah. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ian. This is the Pro Nerd Sports Podcast, and here I just talk and give my shitty opinions about what's going on in the NFL world. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, all of you, all 3 of you that are in here. I love you so much. If you don't know me, I still love you. And with that being said, we'll get started here. Also, I got the funniest notification I think I ever have gotten from YouTube. I have learned that I now have the ability to punish you guys. Yes. I can put you in timeout. That's a quote. I can put you in timeout if you act up in my chat, which all of you do. I can put you in timeout for up to 24 hours. So you better be good. You better say all of my opinions are right. All of my takes are fire. Fire takes, only takes allowed here on the Pro Nerd Sports Podcast because we are nerdy. We're nerding out right now. We are doing it. What kind of college kid has his own model used to predict NFL games? Now, I don't know of anyone else that does. So without further ado, I keep saying that. I'm going to keep talking. A lot is going on. We found out today that Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson is going to undergo season-ending knee surgery. I think he hurt, I believe, that some joint in his leg. And now he is out for the rest of the season, putting a very quick end, unfortunately, to his rookie season. Prayers up for my guy. First of all, though, he only played, 6 games. Pretty impressive so far. Now, it's the Colts. This is the same thing that we've been seeing year in and year out of the Indianapolis Colts quarterback. Despite how good this offensive line has been, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback going down and getting injured. And it is happening yet again, unfortunately. But as we have seen, Gardner Minshew has the ability to win games. Last week didn't seem very promising. Colts fans cannot feel very good about the rest of the season moving forward after last week's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But alas, the Indianapolis Colts will win a few more games. I'm not as comfortable saying that they're going to be playoff contenders, but with that being said, I wouldn't be shocked, and they can win with Gardner Minshew. They've done it already this season. Anyway, with that out of the way, I'm sure Falcons fans, it might usually takes them a little bit longer to get in here. But if you are in there, I'm sure you have heard the news about your Hall of Fame wide receiver, Julio Jones, who has just signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles now got A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and Devontae Smith as their starting receiving core. That is insane. Eagles, obviously one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Probably why Julio Jones decided to join that team, because we probably wouldn't have considered the Philadelphia Eagles very, very weak at the wide receiver position. But either way, he is chasing rings. He is trying to get on a Super Bowl winning team. It's just a shame he didn't come to Detroit. Well, that's probably saying something. That's probably saying something about us. There we go. There we go. I can point at it. Whew. All right. But again, so today we're doing the usual. We got power rankings and I have predictions. And I want to say before we get into it, I'll say it later again, but my predictions and the nerd model predictions are now combined. So it's less confusing. They are one homogeneous thing. It is that way my predictions are consistent with the nerd model. I can plug things in and out to try and get it to a point where I feel is right. But anyway, without further ado, we have some NFL power rankings to get to. Before I do that, number one, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. I'm sure the two other people in here are already subscribed. I'm sure it's Holly and my mom. Hello, ladies. But if you are not subscribed, say you are a random person, please do. It'll help me out tremendously. I promise you won't be disappointed. Plus, you might even make a friend because I respond to the chats as best as possible. Sometimes I have no clue what people are saying, and then I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know what you want from me. But usually we have a conversation. It's fun. I'm usually wrong. That's just how it goes. But yeah, this is exciting football season. Like I said, where'd I put it? See, I told you I would lose this. Yeah, I don't know where the 5 went. That's like the 1 I had. But the Detroit Lions got 5. Exciting season as a Lions fan. Not something I'm used to in the slightest. But all right. That's enough chatter. I want you to check this out because I have been tweaking. Hello, Holly. How are you doing? Beautiful lady. Number 1 fan. Anyways. We are, let's do some power rankings. Look at that. Tell me that's not cool. I got a side-scrolling news feed. Ooh, come on. That's so cool. There you will see any news updates that are relevant to, football. And then, of course, we are going to have at the bottom the current playoff picture for the NFL. And so far, it seems somewhat reasonable, something that seems like stuff you'd expect. But let's see, what else did I include in there? Oh, yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are planning to open up practice for starting quarterback Kyler Murray. Joshua Dobbs obviously has been exceeding expectations there in Arizona. Despite that, the team only has 1 win. A very good win, might I add, against the Dallas Cowboys. Kyler Murray comes back. Arizona Cardinals, that one threat that guy left on my channel, he might come back. I'm so confused right now. Wait. Who is that? Who is the Ian Stoddard Show? That's my other YouTube channel. I didn't say it. I swear. Wait, what? I must have logged in on something. Mom, Dad, who is it? Luke? Anyways, I'm sure everything's all right, but I swear I'm not commenting on my own streams. You saw my hands. Whew. But anywho, I've been taking 8 minutes to do these power rankings. All right, give me 1 second, y'all, because it is hot as balls in this room. So I need to turn the fan on. Whew. All right, that feels so much better. All right. Anywho, we got some NFL power rankings to go through. Starting off at 32nd, we have the Carolina Panthers. If you're surprised by this, you have not been watching. You've not been watching football. The Carolina Panthers, they lost. Who did they lose to? Were they on a bye week last week, or was that the Miami game? I'm getting all of my weeks confused. Hold on. This is a very professional outing by Pro Nerd Sports right here. All right, it was the Miami game. I didn't post it, but I want to say for the record, the Nerd Model did predict this game on the dot. Believe me if you want. You probably don't, but it's all right. I know what I did. The Miami Dolphins defeated the Carolina Panthers 42-21. Exactly as expected. Now, what does this mean for the Carolina Panthers? Well, one thing I have been noticing is that Bryce Young is playing significantly better than he has. He is 3 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions. He had 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions against the Miami Dolphins, and over 200 passing yards, decent completion percentage. Adam Thielen, he may be old. A lot of people wrote him off at the beginning of the season. Man has been balling. And every season this man balls, and he never gets the credit that he deserves in the slightest. But anywho, again, offensive line and defense really struggling for the Carolina Panthers. They did play the best offense in the league, and that's never a good combination. Coaching, I feel like the coaching's got to be better too. I was more excited. I expected more out of the Frank Reich hire, especially as to how the Carolina Panthers ended the season last season, winning 7 of their last 9, something crazy like that. Pretty decent on the home as well. At home as well, they only lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers last season towards the end of the season. I was expecting a lot more from this Carolina Panthers team. Yes, I haven't expected them to win many games up until this point, but at the same time, 0-6 is getting embarrassing. They need to start putting things together. I believe they have a bye week headed into week 7, which they do. So luckily, we do not get to watch the Carolina Panthers play football. And congratulations, Carolina Panthers. You guys are probably clinching the 32nd ranking in next week's power rankings, because I'm sure you're not going to get a win against the bye week. Anyways, moving on. 31st, I have the New England Patriots. Now, never in my life would I have expected that I would have had the New England Patriots ranked second to last in the NFL. After what I've seen for the first, 8 years of me watching football, all that ever happened was the Patriots would win. The Patriots were always a top 10 team throughout all of those years. We all know it, the Brady, Belichick, Gronk era. These Patriots were really good. Those Patriots are no more. Patriots fans, some of them calling for the firing of Bill Belichick, some pushing him to retire. Things aren't working. Things aren't clicking in New England at the moment. And Mac Jones, despite the Bill O'Brien hire, and in the beginning, I really thought that was going to make a huge difference. I thought the Patriots were going to be on a roll. I thought Mac Jones is throwing the ball more. He looks decent. The defense looks good. This Patriots team will look so much better than it has been. And really, since the Christian Gonzalez injury, really since the slaughter that they faced against the Dallas Cowboys, this New England Patriots team has not been good at all in the slightest. Defense has been allowing a lot of points only because they've been on the field for so much, because the offense has not been able to get anything going. So 31st is the best I can rank the New England Patriots. They squeezed out a 5-point win against the New York Jets and Zach Wilson. They always beat the Jets, but honestly, that seems more and more like a fluke each week. Moving on to 30th, we have the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields goes down, never good side. Tyson Bagent. I want to say Bagent, but I heard someone say Bagent earlier, so I really don't know how to say his name. Rookie quarterback out of the Division II school, Shepherd, is taking the field for the Chicago Bears most likely next week. Not the greatest numbers ever. He did score his first touchdown, but I don't have high expectations for the Bears going into next week. They do play an injury, a banged up Las Vegas Raiders team, so we'll see what happens next week. But great win against the Commanders the week prior, 20-point win, dropping a game against the Minnesota Vikings at home. Tough divisional matchup, but at the same time, the offense and Justin Fields really didn't get that much going at the same time. Ooh, excuse me. But moving on to 29th, I have the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, as we all know, aren't a good football team. They have one win against the Chicago Bears, ranked right below them. And I really don't have that much to add on the Denver Broncos. Tough loss at Kansas City on Thursday night. It's what we'd expect. Russell Wilson started to look like the Russell Wilson from last season as far as what I remember. If the offense isn't clicking, which is the only thing, that was the only thing going for the Denver Broncos, was Russell Wilson was starting to play like Russell Wilson. When he doesn't play like the Russell Wilson we know and love from years prior, the Denver Broncos are atrocious. So the defense is abysmal. Can't believe I'm saying that for the Denver Broncos, but hey, it is what it is. Moving on to 28th, I have the Arizona Cardinals. Again, Kyler Murray is practicing now. Joshua Dobbs has been exceeding expectations for the Arizona Cardinals, but again, now with James Conner hurt, the team is banged up. The defense really hasn't been performing. There's not much, there's nothing really specific I can say about the Arizona Cardinals team aside from the fact that they just don't have the talent on their roster to win games, in my opinion. 28th is a good spot from what I've seen from them. They got routed by the Rams on the road last week, killed by the 49ers the week prior. Still got that good win against the Dallas Cowboys under their belt, but they did lose to the team above them, 27th, the New York Giants, who last week were ranked 31st, but they are now the highest ranked. They are now the highest ranked 1-5 team. The New York Giants are now my The New York Giants are now my highest ranked 1-5 team. Woo! Go Giants! Go Giants! Woo! Woo! I have to say, we've all heard about it already. It was Sunday night. It was a long time ago. It's in the past. But the Giants got screwed. They should have beaten the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. That's all I can say. I am bewildered that I said that. I'm bewildered that game was even close. Obviously, Buffalo Bills have some issues in their department, but hey, the pass defense, or okay, maybe not the pass defense, but the defense as a whole for the New York Giants really hasn't looked the worst in the league all season. It's just that their offense has been abysmal. Tyrod Taylor, the quarterback for the Giants, as of now, Daniel Jones out with an injury. Yeah. I mean, mixed emotions from a Giants fan. Yeah. Thanks for agreeing, Mom. Mom, do you know who if anyone, was on the Ian Stoddard show? Or was that you or was somebody else? But cuz that's me. I don't know where someone commented is that. You know, it's probably fine, right? It's probably fine. But thanks for commenting anyways. But yeah, Giants 27th. Moving on to 26th, we have our first 2-win team, the Minnesota Vikings. A 19-13 win on the road. Okay, it was you. Okay, that makes me feel relieved. That makes me feel better. That someone didn't hack into my account. But 26th, the Minnesota Vikings, again without Justin Jefferson, are going to be without him for another 3 to 7 weeks. Not where you want to be if you're a Vikings fan. A 19-13 win on the road against a banged-up Chicago Bears team isn't the most impressive win, but again, it is really hard to win in this league, as Dan Campbell says all the time. It's extremely hard to win in this league. Is the chat box not showing up? Man, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all are going to have to deal with the... it's because I had signed in under my Google. That's probably why. All right. We're going to figure this out. Because I want the chat box to work. Or else, there's no point in having it. I need to call everyone nerds. It's how it works. But anyways, the Minnesota Vikings without Justin Jefferson, we need to see them against a good team to really judge how Kirk Cousins and this offense is going to perform without their star wide receiver. I'm sure they will be, but they really haven't gotten anything going on the road in the slightest. Keeping them at the 26th spot. Moving on to 25th, we have the Green Bay Packers. Had a bye week last week, so not much has changed in that department. I believe they've only moved down one spot. Again, we need to see more from this Packers team. Aaron Jones will hopefully be back, at least for my fantasy team's sake. Head into next week, I believe is either Sunday night or Monday night. They have a game at the Denver Broncos. A bloodbath there. Ooh, yeah, everyone's waiting to watch that game on prime time. Yeah, okay. It was flexed to 4:00. I think it was at one point a primetime game. It's no longer a primetime game. But anyways, Packers dropping a loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, who are right above them, and I'll give them credit. They have been impressing me. So good job, Raiders. Good job, Raiders. I was severely disrespecting this team, as I tend to do. I usually tend to predict the Raiders to lose a bunch of games that they end up winning. They are now 500. Again, maybe the disrespect is continuing at having them only at 24th in the league. Look, their wins came against the Green Bay Packers, the Denver Broncos, and somebody else. Who else did they beat? The New England Patriots. That's right. That's who they beat last week. Jimmy Garoppolo went down with a back injury. Probably not going to play next week. It sucks. It sucks. But I think 24th is a good spot as of now for the Raiders team. Maybe if they get a win against a tougher opponent, that'll be enough to put for me to put them even higher on this list. 23rd, I'm glad they're not here for this because the Atlanta Falcons fans, my fans that are Atlanta Falcons fans, will be going nuts. I already heard a mouthful from Steven from this, but the Atlanta Falcons lost at home, a game that I was pretty confident the Atlanta Falcons would win. They lost at home against the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell had like 3 touchdowns, didn't have a lot of yardage, but hey, Commanders won the game. Desmond Ridder made some crucial mistakes. This Atlanta offense is proving to be a hindrance. The running game really hasn't been working as much as anyone wants it to. I need Bijan Robinson to pick up the pace. I need him to be the running back that I thought he was going to be because I drafted him in fantasy thinking he was going to be the next Saquon Barkley. And so far, I mean, he was leading the league. He was top 5 in the league in rushing yards at one point, but really the run has slowed down a lot. Teams are starting to figure out all of the Falcons' offense, which really isn't that complex to begin with. So Arthur Smith needs to start dialing some more things up. Moving on to 22nd, we have the Washington Commanders, the team that just beat the Atlanta Falcons after getting blown out by the Chicago Bears at home. One of those teams, I say it every week, it's one of those teams that how good are they? I really don't know. I can't tell you how good the Washington Commanders is. One hand, they almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in Philadelphia, which is an incredibly tough environment to win in. And then you lose at home by 20 to the Chicago Bears, the winless at the time Chicago Bears. So again, we don't really know how good this team is. Then they go on the road and beat a very good, beat a good Atlanta team. So 22nd is where the Washington Commanders are going to sit. 21st, Tennessee Titans dropped the game in London against the Baltimore Ravens. kept it close for a little bit. Defense was really good in the red zone. Offense really couldn't get the ball moving, though, at least in the air. Derrick Henry was phenomenal, though, in that game. I think he had like 97 yards and a touchdown. Did what he had to. Wasn't the best Derrick Henry game. As we all know, he has had some monster games. But Tennessee Titans, another team we really are so unsure about. They're not very consistent at all, and they have a matchup. I believe they have the bye week. Yeah, they have a bye week coming up to figure some things out. Maybe I can figure out how good this team actually is. But for now, I feel like 21 is a good spot to keep the Tennessee Titans at. Woo! Okay. Moving on to numbers 9 through 20. 20th, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, another one of those teams that is around this area every week. I really don't know. I really don't know how good that team is as well. One hand, they're getting blown out by the Houston Texans. One hand, they're beating the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. So it's a tough league to win in. Currently, the Steelers sit at the 6th seed, I believe, in the AFC. Don't know how much longer that's going to last. I feel like this team is the worst team in the AFC North, but we'll see what happens moving forward. 19th, the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr actually had a pretty decent game against the Houston Texans yardage-wise. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Saints defense has been playing great. Running game was hindered a little bit by the Houston Texans, which isn't generally a team I would think that would hinder the run game. But again, the Saints have, if Derek Carr can keep producing, limit the turnovers, hold on to the ball, and the Saints can get that run game going, I feel like that and their defense can carry this team to an NFC South title. Definitely possible, but as of now, the New Orleans Saints haven't been nearly as impressive as many people would have thought. So I'm going to keep them at 19th for now. Again, another middle of the pack team, nothing crazy. Same with the Houston Texans above them. Squeezed out a very good win at home against the New Orleans Saints. Me and Faison were right. I don't think Faison is in here, but me and Faison were both right, saying that C.J. Stroud was going to throw his very first interception of the game against the New Orleans Saints, and that he did. Still won the game though, so great poise by the rookie quarterback to not let that get in his head and still squeeze out the win. Good job on him for doing that. Moving on to 17th, we all saw the Chargers lose to the Dallas Cowboys at home that was Monday night, right? On Monday Night Football. Close game. It seems like this is the same old Chargers. Beautiful roster. Plenty of playmakers on both sides of the ball, but are still unable to produce in close games and come up clutch, dropping the game at home against the Dallas Cowboys. If they want to contend for a Super Bowl or an AFC championship, something like that, they need to figure out a way to win these games. And so far, these past 2 years, they have not been able to do that in the slightest. All right, moving on to the top half of the league. Starting off with 16th, the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe a little bit high after Gardner Minshew's performance last season, but I still think this Colts team has plenty of potential. As long as the offensive line, maybe Jonathan Taylor can start picking things up now that he's back on the team and under a new contract. Defense has been playing all right, so let's see what this a little bit of a hiccup last week. If Gardner Minshew can limit the turnovers, the Indianapolis Colts will be just fine. I feel like 16th is a very good spot to have the Indianapolis Colts. Moving on to 15th, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously lost to the Detroit Lions right there. Oh, yeah. They lost 20-6. Offense really didn't get anything going. I know the Lions defense, believe it or not, has been pretty good so far this season. No production for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every other game this season, I know that they struggled against the Philadelphia Eagles earlier this year, but other than that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been doing what they needed to do offensively and defensively. The defense has been pretty good. Pass defense struggled a lot against Jared Goff and the Lions and other teams this season. So if they can figure that out, they can play like they did against the New Orleans Saints, that they'll easily make the playoffs. They have that edge already on the New Orleans Saints, an away win by a huge margin. We'll see what the Bucs can continue to do this season. Moving on to 14th, the Seattle Seahawks. They were in my top 10 for so long. Now I am starting to drop them a little bit, really because of that loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, the Seahawks have presented plenty of opportunities to win that game, and I was so confident in my upset prediction for the Seahawks winning that game. Obviously, they didn't come through. Really struggled in the red zone, but with that being said, I'm not worried about the Seattle Seahawks team. I still think this is a great team. I think they'll make the playoffs. They do have a very tough division, maybe some tough games coming up, but overall, I'm not worried about the Seahawks. I think they still play good enough to win that game. They didn't, which is, key. It's hard to win in this league, but hey. 13th, the Los Angeles Rams slaughtered the Arizona Cardinals at home. I believe it was 26-9. Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp are back. That connection is back. I'm sure Puka Nacua owners in fantasy are suffering because of that. If the Rams can get both of them involved, Kyron Williams, their running back, is going to be out for several weeks, which is a little bit unfortunate. I don't know what they're going to do at running back, but it'll be fine. Okay. But yeah, the Rams, again, I'm holding on to that one statement win against the Seattle Seahawks at the beginning of the season. They kept it close against the San Francisco 49ers. How is a team the Falcons beat above them? You guys, Mason, you do know that the Falcons lost to a team that got blown out by the Bears at home, a game that they should have easily won. And might I add, y'all barely won the Houston game. A win is a win. I know a win is a win. But you put that game in Houston, I'm taking the Texans all day. I'm taking the Texans all day. And I don't know, the Falcons, Desmond Ridder has just not been, he looked good last week or 2 weeks ago against the Houston Texans, but he's making crucial mistakes. I think teams are figuring out this offense, and I'm not convinced. The Falcons have not. Okay, let's go back from. Oh, I just revealed all of it. Let's see. Let's go back. I mean, you can be mad all you want. No, I'm not putting you above them. I think on a neutral field, the Houston Texans beat the Atlanta Falcons. I'm fairly confident in that. Because the Texans also didn't lose to the Commanders. And might I add, Houston Texans, I'm 0-6 in only that league, and my team's not even bad, dog. But might I add, the Houston Texans destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars by about 20 points, and the Falcons lost to the Jaguars. So with that, I'm using this pretty much almost nearly the same logic as you, and I'm just more convinced by the Houston Texans than I am the Atlanta Falcons thus far. But anywho, why do I keep doing that? Anyways. 12th, the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, I'm convinced. The Bengals are finally back. 2 back-to-back wins. Joe Burrow is healed. The world is great. That makes me so mad, man. Why is the chat isn't working, man? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. I wish I could had the ability to test that out. But what was I saying? The Cincinnati Bengals, I'm convinced. They're finally back. They're finally back to winning form. They beat a good team really two good teams in the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. That has given me enough confidence to put them at 12. Still keeping them under the Bills. I know the Bills have been significantly disappointing the last 2 weeks. I know, Mom, the Giants played a great game. They should have won it. But at the same time, the Buffalo Bills have no excuses to be losing to the New York Giants. The way the Giants have been playing, the way teams have been blowing them out, there's no way the Buffalo Bills should have kept that game close at all. And it was significantly close. And it's got to be because of the injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Bills are significantly inconsistent. They need to figure out if they're going to contend. Because, a couple weeks ago, the Buffalo Bills had 3 consecutive blowout wins. And we're all thinking, oh, this is the Super Bowl team. This is the team that's going to the Super Bowl. Hell, they beat the Miami Dolphins when they were fully healthy. So Buffalo Bills need to figure something out on defense. Don't know when Matt Milano and company come back. But Buffalo Bills need to figure out if they want to contend in the AFC. Now, this is something that no one's going to like. I'm sticking by it, though. The New York Jets, without Aaron Rodgers, with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback, as of right now, are a top 10 team. That defense is starting to play just like it did last season. It's phenomenal. They just beat the defending NFC champions, really because of the defense. The offense wasn't rolling as much, but that's all right. They should have been, or they came, I won't say should have, but they came extremely close to beating the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's almost 2 Super Bowl teams that they have beaten. Coming off a win against the Denver Broncos. They beat the Buffalo Bills at home week 1 with all the Bills starters in place. The Giants are swamped with injuries, but they still are, so they're staying where they are. But the Jets, I guess they lost to the New England Patriots, which is never a good thing, but it's the New York Jets. That always happens. They got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys, which is the team right above them. But other than that, the Jets have really not been that disappointing. And this team fluctuates so much. You see some power rankings where they're almost near the bottom 5. And then I think this is the highest I've ever seen anyone put the Jets so far this week. Give me the Jets at 10th. I'll take that heat. I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat for that take. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys, number 9. Great win on the road at the Los Angeles Chargers, proving that the Dallas Cowboys can hang with the big boys, or they can compete. I wouldn't consider the Los Angeles Chargers an elite team by any means, but the Dallas Cowboys, the Chargers are a good team. The Dallas Cowboys went on the road and pulled off that win in a close win. We saw that fan there. Tough environment, believe it or not, for the Dallas Cowboys. They got that win. So good on them. Still need to play better against the big dogs. So we'll see what happens. They have a bye week coming up next week. Maybe they get to rest and think it over. And then they got a game against the Los Angeles Rams in Dallas, which should be a fun one. So we'll see what happens then. Moving on to the top 8 teams in the NFL. We have at 8th, the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, they beat the San Francisco 49ers, number 1 team in the league, with their backup quarterback. So many people were telling me the Browns were too high in my previous rankings, and I'm standing by this. This defense has been the best defense thus far in the NFL this season. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. That is, if you look at yards per game, the Cleveland Browns are first in defense. Now, their offense is a completely different story. P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson are not guys that are going to get the job done for you. They're going to have to rely on this defense, although Deshaun Watson's, I believe it was a shoulder injury, is trending up, so I believe that he is getting better. There is a very good chance that he makes his return this week against the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see what happens, though. We don't want to rush it. And hey, if this team can beat the 49ers without him, they could probably beat the Indianapolis Colts without him. Just the thought. Moving on to 7th, we have the Browns' divisional rival, the Baltimore Ravens, grinding out a good win against the Tennessee Titans. Weren't very good in the red zone, but as far as getting stuff done in the air, Lamar Jackson, especially with him scrambling and getting out of the pocket, dual threat guy. Ravens are now a dual threat team. I mean, they have been. Come on, not now, but they have been. This is a good team. This is a very good football team. So, yeah, they got a date with the Detroit Lions this week. I'm excited. I'm more nervous for this one. I feel like this will be our second loss. I know they say that every week, and it's like the boy who cried wolf, but I say it against teams that we should beat. But the Baltimore Ravens are the 3-point favorite in this game. I'm going to roll with the Ravens. You'll see later, though, in my predictions. But Ravens defense, great. Lamar Jackson's playing wonderful. Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham were both lethal in London Sunday morning. So moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who this team, they had a very slow start to the season. I know because I have so many Jaguars on my fantasy teams, and it's been pissing me off. But Travis Etienne has been playing phenomenally. We just need Trevor Lawrence to start reciprocating that. Christian Kirk's been great. Calvin Ridley has been Evan Ingram has been great. Jaguars offensive line has been great. And oddly enough, this Jacksonville Jaguars defense is shocking me. I thought they were still going to be bad like they usually are. They are impressing me. They had a great, outstanding game against the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, Gardner Minshew was the quarterback, but again, he has the ability to win games. Jaguars did what they needed to do. They did what they needed to do against the Buffalo Bills, and they did what they needed to do against the Atlanta Falcons. So 6 is where the Jaguars go. They've gotten big wins against good teams. Moving on, 5th, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts. This is the top 5 team. This is the top 5 team. First loss on Sunday against the New York Jets. Very, very narrowly in the bottom, but Jalen Hurts threw the game away. Jalen Hurts has not been playing like the way Jalen Hurts did last season. He should not be considered as of now an MVP candidate. He has not been playing like an MVP, turning the ball over way too much. Now the Eagles offense has been fine. They've been getting a lot of stuff going on the ground with DeAndre Swift and others. Defense has been also looking shaky. At least the secondary. Heard reports that the Philadelphia Eagles might be looking to sign some extra help in that secondary, but teams have been exposing them in that department. They got a date with the number 1 offense in the Miami Dolphins, so that will be interesting to see, because I'm sure if any team is going to expose that part of the Philadelphia Eagles, it will be the Miami Dolphins. 4th, I'm putting the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, I know who you see above it. I know you're calling bias, and there probably is a lot. Yeah, there is. But Detroit Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. That's all I'm saying. That's why I was like, I can't have the Lions directly under the Chiefs when they beat them on the road. Kansas City Chiefs, though, Patrick Mahomes has not been looking like himself. He has been turning the ball over a lot more than he has been in any other game throughout his career. Patrick Mahomes just hasn't been looking like himself. I mean, the Chiefs are winning games. They're on a 4-game win streak. They did just beat the Denver Broncos, and we know the Denver Broncos are not a good team. But I'm not convinced this team is going to go back to the Super Bowl and win. I'm not convinced yet. But anyways, we gotta move on. We gotta move on to the huge elephant in the room. I know people saw it right from the get-go. This is probably the highest I have ever ranked the Lions. Wow, 3rd best team in the league. And I just want to say, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. They have more points scored than the Philadelphia Eagles. And they've conceded less points than the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 1 run defense. The Taylor Swift jinx. Who does that apply to? The Lions or the Chiefs? I'm guessing the Chiefs. I don't know. Holly and I went to that movie. Yeesh. Great performer Taylor Swift. But the little girl or the teenage girls in the movie theater, not great performers. I can't say. But anyways, I'm just leave it at that. That's my reasoning. That's my logic. Hey, Stephen A. Smith had the Lions as number 1, and I'm not that crazy. I'm not that crazy. I knew someone would. I knew some people would. Faison's here. Yes, finally. Hello, Faison. How you doing, man? But all right, Faison, you missed part of the power rankings, but we're about to get to my weekly predictions here in a minute, so stay tuned. But anywho, above the Lions, I have the Miami Dolphins. I am not convinced. I did love it. I love it. It was great. But I'm not convinced that Detroit. I'm not gonna be the guy that says the Detroit Lions beat the Miami Dolphins. I am not. I'm not gonna say that. They beat the Denver Broncos by 50 points. We'll see what. I don't know. I mean, I doubt the Lions and the Dolphins will ever play each other. Oh, that's where they are. Okay. I was wondering where Steven was. Faison, I have a question. Where, if you were to rank the Atlanta Falcons, where would you rank them? And would you rank the Houston Texans above the Atlanta Falcons? Those are my questions. But anywho, the Miami Dolphins, number 2, fair enough, had one bad game against the Buffalo Bills, have been rolling ever since. And number 1, not the Houston Texans. Number 1 is the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, they lost last week to the Cleveland Browns. Yes, they lost last week to a backup quarterback. But hey, Jake Moody missed that game-winning field goal. If he did that, it would have been just a dream. None of this speculation would have ever happened. Brock Purdy looked a little bit normal. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel got hurt. Obviously alters the game of the San Francisco 49ers and definitely makes it harder to win than it has been in the past. But despite all of that, I'm still convinced that the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFL. They have a date on Monday next week against the Minnesota Vikings, so we'll see what happens. Thank you, Faison. Thank you. Also, this is making me so mad. I want the chat box to work. We'll see what it does. Put it right there. Okay, we'll see what happens. I doubt it's going to work, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, those were my NFL power rankings. I do have, man, I need a haircut. I have some nerd model predictions to go. And this week, I'm feeling pretty good. About this week. I got, you guys are in for a treat. But first, kicking off, we have the Thursday Night Football game happening tomorrow night. The Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. We'll see what happens there. Boom. I mean, the Lions don't play the Dolphins. I will say, the Lions don't play the Dolphins this season. But I give us a chance to win. But I say that we are gonna. No. This is the nerd model prediction for this game. Keep in mind, this is considering that Trevor Lawrence does play. Trevor Lawrence in jeopardy of missing his very first NFL start since coming in the league in 2021. Got the Jaguars winning 22-15 on the road in New Orleans. Now, with this being said, a lot of this revolves around Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? If he doesn't play, it's CJ Beathard's team for a week. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence dealing with a knee injury. But even if he does play, I'll bring up a stat line I saw today. Via Aaron Summers on Twitter, Trevor Lawrence had only 2 losses in his college football career, both of them coming in the Superdome. This is some bad mojo. There might be some voodoo tricks going on here, but The Saints, it seems like the spirits are in the Saints' favor, but we'll see what happens. Jaguars on a 3-game win streak. Defense has been phenomenal over those last 3 games, only averaging under 15 points a game, or averaging under 16 points a game per game allowed. I don't know if that made any sense. Have them doing it again here with Saints barely missing that margin, scoring 15. Derek Carr had a great game last week. Jaguars will probably be able to handle it. Both teams are top 10 against the run, so Alvin Kamara and Travis Etienne might have a tough day finding some fantasy points for you, but this should be a good game. It should be, believe it or not, a tough defensive battle. Nail biter here. Got the Jags winning 22-15. Now, don't mind these. Woo! All right. This is cool, too. I really think this is cool. I think I did a good job with these visuals. But anywho, I got the Atlanta Falcons are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. Tough divisional matchup. This is a very crucial game. Both teams, Falcons a 3-win team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers a 3-win team. This is a crucial NFC South matchup. Buccaneers already got a game against the New Orleans Saints. Atlanta Falcons grabbed one in week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. This is going to determine thank you, Faison. This is going to ultimately have an impact on who takes the NFC South throne. If the Falcons can manage to go on the road and get a win in Tampa, they're in perfect standing. Now, both of these teams lost to the Lions by the same score, 20-6. My notes say Baker Mayfield, obviously, besides last week, I don't know what happened last week. I guess the Lions defense is really just that good. But Baker Mayfield averaging just over 200 yards a game. Atlanta Falcons are 4th. Believe it or not, this is Jesse Bates effect. The Atlanta Falcons are 4th in pass defense in the NFL. Offense is a different story, going up against a very tough Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Obviously, the secondary has been exposed prior in this season. Desmond Ridder, 2 consecutive 300-yard games. 2 powerhouse offensive line. Not a lot of sacks are going to be coming, although the Atlanta Falcons did get 5, I believe, last week. So anything can happen. There's a lot up in the air in this game. Both teams are pretty evenly matched, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites at home. The nerd model says that the Atlanta Falcons. This is a weird scoreline. Most likely not going to happen. I probably should have changed it to like 13-16. But that's fine. I say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers edge out a 3-point win at home against the Atlanta Falcons to secure the lead, the sole lead of the NFC South, become the clear favorite. Wouldn't be surprised, though, to see the Atlanta Falcons take this game. And Mason, I don't know who's watching, but this can weigh a huge impact on where the Falcons are ranked next week, obviously, of course. Falcons seem to love to do that, lose badly, and then get a great win. So this is the Falcons' chance to prove themselves to me. The Falcons can prove themselves with this game, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great divisional matchup on the road. Moving on. Whew, I need to down this real quick. Las Vegas Raiders, 24th ranked Las Vegas Raiders, headed into Chicago, number 30th ranked team. I'm going to say it right now, this is not going to be a good game. We're most likely going to see 2 backup quarterbacks play in this game. Justin Fields and Jimmy Garoppolo, both doubtful with their own injuries. Tyson Bagent probably going to get the starting job in Chicago. Obviously, he beat P.J. Walker out for that starting job, or starting QB2 job in the preseason. We saw Aiden O'Connell earlier this year, the rookie quarterback out of Purdue. He was great in preseason, didn't really produce that well in the one game he played against the Los Angeles Chargers, although Brian Hoyer, when he came in for the injured Jimmy Garoppolo, put up a passer rating of above 90, which might be the key to winning this game. Brian Hoyer, obviously a veteran quarterback, has been around the league, has been with Josh McDaniels in New England. So maybe he knows the system pretty well. He was with, I guess Jimmy G did too, and he's struggling as well. But we'll see what happens. Tyson Bagent had a 16 passer rating, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 fumble lost. We'll see what happens in this game. I personally, on paper it's a terrible game, but I'm kind of excited to see if Aiden O'Connell does play, which rookie quarterback is going to be the better quarterback. And honestly, I'm rooting for Tyson Bagent, because not often do we see a rookie quarterback. Mind you, he came out of Division II football. He played Division II football at Shepherd University, so not FBS, not FCS, Division II, which is just crazy for me to think that he's probably going to start in an NFL game. I don't know when the last time that's happened, but Chicago, believe it or not, is top 10 in yards allowed. Wait, no, I believe so. Yeah, hold on. Let me fact check real quick. No. Okay, yeah, the Chicago Bears are allowing 89.5 rushing yards per game. So if they can shut down Josh Jacobs, force Brian Hoyer to throw the ball, Chicago Bears have a very good chance at winning this game. But like I said, rookie quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, the offense wasn't performing well with a veteran quarterback in Justin Fields. So we'll see what happens. A lot up in the air. It's all about how these quarterbacks perform under this pressure. But I say Brian Hoyer, his experience gets the job done for the Chicago Bears. So I'm going to give the Raiders a 20-19 victory. Mason is losing his shit. He is so fed up with the Falcons. Me always hating on the Falcons. It's only a 3-point loss. But how did y'all lose to the Commanders? The Bears beat the Commanders by so much. I don't understand how. I was so confident. I finally got to pick the Falcons to win a game, and they disappointed me. Maybe I should just do. Maybe what I'm doing with the Falcons is working, and I need to just keep doing it for y'all's sake. Because if I usually when I pick against the Lions, the Lions win. So maybe if I pick against the Falcons will win. But if I pick the Falcons to win, y'all are done. Y'all are done. I'm sorry. So maybe this is a good thing in disguise, Mason. Come on, cut me some slack here. Next up, we got the number 8 Cleveland Browns taking on the number 16th ranked Indianapolis Colts on the road in Indianapolis. This should be a good game. This should be a good game. We don't know the status of Deshaun Watson. These predictions were made assuming that Deshaun Watson is playing quarterback. If he isn't playing quarterback, things are probably a little bit different. Oh, Mason, I need to hear. Mason, I need a couple opinions out of you. Number one, what do you think about Julio Jones signing with the Eagles, if you have any opinion on that whatsoever? And number two, a lot of people are saying that it's going to be Kirk Cousins' season for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I don't think he'll win y'all a Super Bowl, but I think that'll be a tremendous pickup for the Falcons. That'll shift my opinion on the Atlanta Falcons very heavily next season if the Desmond Ridder doesn't perform like he should and they trade for Kirk Cousins and Kirk Cousins does what he's been doing for the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington Redskins when he was on that team. But anyways, the Cleveland Browns taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Like I said earlier, if P.J. Walker plays, P.J. Walker plays, but the Browns' defense is no joke. They are the best defense in the league thus far this season in yards per game. allowing only 200.4 yards per game. I would love if Kirk Cousins went to Atlanta. That'd be so cool. But anyways, Browns can beat the 49ers with their backup quarterback. They can beat the Indianapolis Colts with their backup quarterback. And now we also need to see how Gardner Minshew plays. He needs to bounce back. Did not have a good day against the Jaguars defense. Now going up against an even better defense. With all those factors in mind, I'm saying that the Cleveland Browns are going to nudge out a very small 1-point victory at the Indianapolis Colts. You think Cousins will stay with the Vikings? He'll resign? I don't know, man. You got a pretty good wide receiver they're going to have to start paying. Kirk Cousins also costs a lot of money. And if they suck this season, it might be tank season. I don't know. Go draft a young guy that they can afford. We'll see what happens. That is a long time away. We are only not even halfway through this season yet. So we'll see what we will see what happens. We will see what happens. But Mom, the moment you've been waiting for, the Washington Commanders taking on the New York Giants. 22nd ranked Washington Commanders taking on the 27th ranked New York Giants. In this decade, this series is almost split. The New York Giants are half a game up after tying the Commanders and winning last season. Commanders sweeping the Giants the season prior, and the season prior to that, the Giants sweeping the Commanders. So this is a very tough divisional rivalry. No team they have not split yet, though, which is interesting to think about. So maybe one of these teams are going to come away with the season with 2 wins. But with that being said, Taylor Heinicke has been balling. He is, I don't believe he's thrown an interception on the road, oddly enough. The Commanders, first of all, the Commanders have been really good at getting to the quarterback. They're 8th in the league in sacks per game. Giants, of course, are very, very bad at protecting the quarterback. Jack was in here telling me that they're going to have like 4 starters in the offensive line out. So, again, not a great look for the New York Giants. Obviously, do have Saquon Barkley back. And that defense performed. If that defense can perform like it did against Buffalo, against the Washington Commanders, there's no reason the Giants, besides the terrible offensive line, the Giants should win this game. Tyrod Taylor didn't look terrible. He looked better than Daniel Jones has this season, but again, different factors involved. Is that going to happen again? We don't really know. I don't think Tyrod Taylor is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. But either way, Saquon Barkley is back on the field, and he was balling against the Buffalo Bills. So we'll see what happens in this game. But with all of that in mind, the Nerd Model predicts that the New York Giants are going to come away with their second win of the season, 19-17 at home. So there you go, Mom, giving the New York Giants their second win of the NFL season. All right, we got 8 more games, so strap in your seatbelts, folks. Let's see. Moving on. All right. The number 3, I can't believe I'm saying that, the 3rd-ranked Detroit Lions headed into Baltimore, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Lions thus far have been great. All sides of the offense. I know, believe it or not, I had the New York Giants winning a football game. Big dubs, big dubs. The Baltimore Ravens have also been very good. Defense has been phenomenal. Offense has been phenomenal. This should be a great game. Baltimore is a very tough environment to play in. Obviously, the Lions are on a roll. They expect to win every game. They're almost undefeated if they didn't, make some crucial mistakes in a Seattle Seahawks game. Not sure about that. It could go either way. Honestly. If the Bears can beat the Washington Commanders, the New York Giants can beat the Washington Commanders. That's how I see it. But anywho, let's see here. What can I say about this game? We don't know about the running backs for the Detroit Lions. That didn't stop them last week, so maybe it won't stop them again. David Montgomery most likely out. Jahmyr with a rib injury. Jahmyr Gibbs, though, trending upwards, so hopefully we'll see a return from him very soon. The Baltimore Ravens, Odell Beckham and Zay Flowers were balling last week, but the team really struggled in the red zone, which is something oddly enough the Detroit Lions are very good at defending. So we'll see what happens. Ravens have the best kicker in the league, and he's been burning us. We all know how it goes. We all know how it goes. But with that being said, I believe that the Detroit Lions will lose. A very narrow, another 1-point victory, the nerd model says, 15-16 against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. It should be a tough game. Oddly enough, I think it'll be a tough defensive battle. Moving on, though, to the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. New England Patriots obviously atrocious. I believe the Bills are 6-1 against the Patriots in the last 7 meetings, which is crazy to think about how the New England Patriots once dominated this team. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills have been struggling these last 2 weeks, dealing with some injuries on the defense. This isn't a very good offense. This is not a very good offense. So if there's going to be a game where the Buffalo Bills bounce back, this will be the game in New England. They've been winning these games. Josh Allen has still been playing like Josh Allen. Don't you worry. New England's defense and offense just both look atrocious. So with that in mind, I'm giving the Buffalo Bills the win on the road, 27-15. I think is a very fair scoreline. Moving on to the 28th ranked Arizona Cardinals at the 14th ranked Seattle Seahawks. Another great divisional matchup. The NFC West for this one. I think the Seattle Seahawks are a good deal better than the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks were not great in the red zone in the slightest, but offensively and defensively the last couple of weeks, especially on the road, the Arizona Cardinals have not been good at all, and they're dealing with some injuries themselves. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to get it done. Nerd Model has, though, a very not as comfortable as a win as Seattle Seahawks fans would want. 26-23 victory for the Seattle Seahawks at home against division rival the Arizona Cardinals. All right, and then we move on to another great game. Some teams that we really middle of the pack teams, we aren't really sure how good each of these teams are. I think the Rams are a better team than the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously judging by the ranking there. Pittsburgh Steelers ranked 20th, Los Angeles Rams ranked 13th. This should be a great matchup. Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp have been connecting on all angles, but the Steelers defense is not a Steelers defense to mess with in the slightest. This team defensively has been great, but so the Rams have been holding their own on defense, only holding the Cardinals to 9 points. Now, that's not a great offense to compare them to, but really this whole season, the Rams defense has been exceeding expectations, and this is not a good Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I say on the road, the Los Angeles Rams get it done against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 23-18, the final score for that one. All right, let's cover these bad boys up again. All right. Last 4 games, 4 o'clock window. The Los Angeles Chargers take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Always a good game, despite how good or bad either of these teams are. I feel like they always play each other tough, but I do know one thing. The Chiefs win these games quite often. The Chargers, it's complicated. The offense really hasn't been looking as good as it should be, as per usual. That's usually what happens with the Chargers. They're not as good as everyone hopes they would be. The Chiefs, on the other hand, have not been looking that great themselves either. We'll see what happens. It's probably be a close game, but either way, I'm going to give the win to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not picking against the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Los Angeles Chargers, although I know it's happened in the past. I'm not doing it. I got the Chiefs taking home the victory against the Los Angeles Chargers, 26-17. Now moving on, Faison, I don't know if you're still watching, but this is a barn burner right here. This is, I cannot wait to not watch this game. The Jordan Love started off the season great, has not been very impressive since, but he has a great opportunity to bounce back against. All right, bye, Mom. Thanks for watching. But, yeah, he's got a great chance to have a comeback game against the Denver Broncos. They had a bye week. They had a chance to think about it. Maybe Aaron Jones is healthy again, and this team can look like what it looked like in week 1. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen this week. Packers defense maybe will be better. It's a home game in Denver. Green Bay Packers only favored by 1 point on the road. I'm giving the game to the Green Bay Packers by 2. 22-20 final score. Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos at 4:25 on Sunday. Now, game of the week right here. Game of the week. Easily the game of the week. The Miami Dolphins take on the Philadelphia Eagles. In Philadelphia, this should be a great game. Defenses kind of not good on both sides of the ball there. It should be an incredibly entertaining offensive bloodbath. Tua, I believe, has been better than Jalen Hurts. But it's in Philly. It's so hard to win a game in Philadelphia with those kinds of fans. It's going to be a very close game. It's going to be a very entertaining game. It's going to be some eye candy. I cannot wait to watch this game, but I'm going to give the victory to the Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Miami Dolphins. A very narrow one, 30-25. I have the Eagles winning. Now, the last game, Monday Night Football, the number 1 ranked San Francisco 49ers head into Minneapolis to take on the Minnesota Vikings at number 26th. I think this is easily goes in the San Francisco 49ers direction, especially if Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel are all okay. Minnesota Vikings banged up on their end. Defense isn't great. 49ers are going to be pissed that they just lost their first game of the season. So they will probably hand it to the Minnesota Vikings. I got the San Francisco 49ers winning the game 26-18 in Minneapolis. And that, my friends and family and girlfriend and everyone that participated in the chat, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. All of you are true, real ones for pulling up today because not many people did. That's all right. But I love you all. If you have anything you need to get off your chest, you need to tell me, let me hear it now. If you think I suck, if you think these predictions suck, maybe you really like the scroll thing like me and my mom, because I think that's pretty cool. Come on. It's like I'm an actual news feed. But I don't know. But yeah, well, with that, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I hope all of your fantasy teams win. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.